Committee. We've got a 4-hour agenda to do in an hour. Let's run through the legislation here real quickly first. RS 2019-81 Rosenberg approves the election of certain notaries public for Davidson County.
Motion.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Can we pull the door shut? Thank you. Or just push the door shut.
RS 2019-82 Hancock, Nash, and others honors Sergeant First Class Dustin Matthew Rotero upon the occasion of Veterans Day 2019. First, is there a motion on the resolution?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And Council Lady Hancock, do you have
Yes, so this motion was established from the brand new Veterans Caucus, of which we're mostly rookies, and we elected to do this resolution in advance of Veterans Day so that we could honor this veteran in advance of Veterans Day. So we've invited the veteran here. He's invited his 4 kids and wife, and then the Adjutant General, who's a Major General, the only 2-star general in the state of Tennessee, is coming as well. What we did not realize until this afternoon is that typically resolutions are voted on and then awarded later. So we're going to do a motion to suspend the rules. The Vice Mayor, Lawyer John Cooper, and Dave Rosenberg have already been consulted about this. We're going to make a motion to suspend the rules to vote on it first at the beginning of the session and then present it to him really quick in advance of Veterans Day to honor all the soldiers in Tennessee, really, but this one is from Davidson County, and since we're Metro Nashville, we'd like to do that. I'm hoping that will be okay.
Great. And does anybody have any concerns about doing that, moving this to the calendar and going on? So, of course, I need to make the motion on the floor, but we're all good here.
Thank you.
Thank you. RS 2019-86 Nash, Syracuse, and others request that the President of the United States and Congress of the United States enact comprehensive immigration reform and give Nashville as qualified undocumented neighbors a path to citizenship and an opportunity to fully participate in the life of our community without fear.
Motion. Second.
Any discussion? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
RS 2019-87 Withers, Young, and others recognizes November 20th, 2019 as Transgender Day of Remembrance in Nashville and Davidson County, Tennessee.
Motion. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Late file, Councilman Mendez accepts a victim of crime grant from the Tennessee Department of Finance and Administration, Office of Council Justice Programs, the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County, acting by and through the Metropolitan Nashville Police Department to fund the position of a VOCA law enforcement victim coordinator to enhance services and more victims. Councilman?
So it's late filed because this is the old state was slow to getting to us on the grant, and if it gets delayed past this meeting, it'll impact the dollar amount of the grant, and so hence the urgency.
Okay, thanks. Any issues? Wasn't there a second one that they had?
And they decided apparently everything got folded into one.
It's actually already on the agenda. That one they did get in and
Okay.
but yeah,
Okay.
they did.
Thank you. All right, good to go. All right, elections and confirmations. Community Education Commission. Election to fill 3 vacancies, each for a term expiring August 31st, 2022. We have 5 nominees. Jane Coleman. Can you help me? Katone, thank you. Terrence Gibson, Rafina Naba McKinney.
Close enough.
What is it?
Naba.
Bernard Pickney and Denise Pridemore. Would our 2 incumbents like to we need a couple, pull a couple chairs into the middle here and we'll talk briefly. You don't have to get up, that's fine. already on the board. So you're both registered voters, live in Davidson County, not on any other Metro boards or commissions. Okay. Would you like to introduce yourself, say a few words about your experience on the board and why you want to continue?
I was appointed in 2009 when the commission was originally established, and I've been on, for the full 10-year term. So it's been a great experience. I think we've accomplished a lot with community education. I'm real proud of how it's gone, and it's looking forward to 3 more years.
Good deal. Thank you.
I am the new person on the commission. I was just here, seems like, in March. Some new faces, though. And it's been a real pleasure serving on it so far. Actually just was elected co-chair. Just had a little bit of turnover. But really looking forward to some things that are going on with the commission, especially the distance learning online class courses that we hope to offer in the future. And I feel like I have some kind of advice and expertise to contribute to that effort. So I hope to continue to stay. And I also hope that we can continue to have Bernard, because he's definitely, he knows a lot, having served on it so long.
Great. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions?
If I can say, they're both my constituents, and so obviously I'm supporting them. I think that, just having come on the board, it's a good, fresh, so basically, let me back up. I've got an example of someone's newest on the commission and somebody who has been on the commission the whole time that it's been around. And I think the benefit of that is that they both provide a fresh perspective and a historical perspective of what programs have worked and maybe have not worked and why. As we all know, especially going over these rules, as we kept asking our now attorney, John Cooper, well, why was this done this way or why was that done that way? That's a prime example of why we need to continue to have Mr. Pickney on this board. And then Ms. Catone, again, providing a fresh perspective. She can go ahead and continue the work that she's been doing this year. And so I just hope that not just in here, but on the floor, you'll hear the speech again, and I hope you'll support them there as well.
So what led your desire to be a part of the commission since you just joined recently?
Oh, sure. Yes. Well, when I heard about the opening, I was very excited because I've been wanting to serve on a commission for a few years now, but this one felt like an excellent fit because of my background in arts and humanities. A lot of the content of the courses that are offered is related to kind of arts enrichment, not exclusively, of course, but I felt like I had something to offer.
It's different. And sir, so you've been here for 10 years. What is it that keeps you?
Well, every once in a while, I get to contribute something, that's useful from the historic, And I was also on the Community Education Alliance for 15 years before the commission was formed.
Okay.
So it kind of carried it forward. And just to see the program, succeed like it has, it's just, really great. But most of the time, we have an excellent executive director, and she keeps things going. But every once in a while, we contribute a little bit and, keep things going. So it's just a joy to see the program succeed.
Thank you both.
Mr. Cooper, our role here, Mr. John Cooper, our role here is to vote as to whether these folks are qualified. Correct. Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a motion to approve that
Motion
these
to
folks are
approve.
qualified? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Thank you both very much. See you in the next room. And would Mr. Gibson, Ms. Nabab McKinney, and Ms. Pridemore, can the three of you all squeeze up here?
Maybe the third chair.
Yeah, preferably with the third chair.
We can share a chair, I guess.
Please go to the soapbox.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, are you all registered voters in Davidson County and don't serve on any other boards or commissions? Okay, would you each introduce yourselves and talk a little bit about why you want to serve on this commission? Ms. Nabab McKinney.
Hi, my name is Berthina Nabab McKinney. My background is in education. I'm currently an education consultant serving K-12 public and private schools in the area of school improvement and school turnaround work. I remember when the community ed programs were in the schools. I worked for Metro Schools for back in 2006-07 during that time, and I remember when they were in schools. What I would like to do in joining the commission is really spread the demographic of programs that are being served across the city. I talked with Mary Beth not too long, just a few minutes ago, just met her, and we were talking in relationship to communities that are currently not being served at capacity, and I would really like to tap into those communities and really get the word out about community ed and programs that are being offered.
Thank you. Pridemore.
I'm Denise Pridemore. Have been a lifelong educator, served with Metropolitan Nashville Public Schools. I'm trying to say MNPS because it just comes off. For a number of years, have since retired. I have my doctorate in educational leadership, have served in both the classroom and the school level administration and district level administration. Just to piggyback on what she said, I think it's an amazing idea to make sure that our underserved population is served, but targeted. And using the data and using information from those particular areas to determine those services that need to be delivered, and using those people in the particular areas to serve those students and serve those adults.
Thank you. Mr. Gibson.
I'm Terrence Gibson. I am a former Metro school teacher myself. I currently work as Assistant Executive Director for the Tennessee Education Association. I have a background in education as well. I'm a certified teacher, background curriculum instruction and so forth. My desire to serve on the commission stems as my affinity for education. I've dedicated my professional life work to education. And I have 2 students in Metro schools. I do believe in paying it forward. I've taken classes through the community ed program and also see it as a piece of not only professional and personal growth, but it's allowing families and the community to have bonds. When I've taken courses, I've met so many neighbors. I've also used it as a bonding time for families and mentees and so forth. So I see it as a way for me to dedicate and contribute my expertise to something that's really going well for our community and paying it forward as well. I think by being part of this commission, I can use my expertise to also, as the 2 colleagues here shared, one of the things that you see in the annual reports that come from the commission and come from it is that we're missing a demographic. We're missing males, and we're missing those in 40 plus age group. And I am that demographic we're missing. So I see that as something that is a gem in our community that's not being taken advantage of, and I figure that my contribution will be to help other Nashville dedicate some of the time and services that I have as well and paying it forward. So thank you for the time.
Thank you. Any questions or comments?
Ms. Nava McKinney, you said after-school programs to different parts of the city. Which regions specifically are you referring to?
So definitely the Antioch cluster, Nolensville Road and Antioch cluster, McGavick High School, the Donaldson Hermitage area is currently not being serviced, and then more programming is in the North Nashville community.
Got it. And then, Ms. Pridemore, can you elaborate as far as what do you mean by targeted?
First off, I think that one of the important things about community education is we do a lot of things right, but there are other people in other cities that are comparable to us that do things maybe better or not as well. So to take a look at what we do and compare those to what other people do. But what I mean by targeting is like, not to just use another comment that he just made, but use those areas and those people that have not been served. The Antioch cluster, the Antioch area, the North Nashville area. And we do a lot of great things in community education. And a lot of courses are offered and classes are offered. But maybe to reevaluate those particular offerings to maybe make them more more pertinent to what the communities need now.
Any other questions or comments? Everybody good doing all three together again? Is there a motion to approve?
Sweet.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
See you a couple rooms over.
You want us to leave the chairs there?
Yeah. Let's jump to Director of Department of Law real quick, if that's okay with everyone. The appointment of Mr. Robert Cooper Jr. to be considered in accordance with Section 8.603 of the Metro Charter. Mr. Cooper, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Would you introduce yourself, say a few words?
Sure. I appreciate y'all seeing me today and going through this process. It's an important process. I'm honored to be before you as a candidate to be the law director for Metro. I think that this is an important time. I have been a lawyer, all my entire practice has been here in Nashville, so the city has been very important to me. And I've been in private practice and in government service. And while I enjoy private practice, there are times when I think it's important to follow the call of public service, and this is one of those. I think like any successful growing city, Nashville has challenges. I think and hope that I can help bring the expertise that I've developed over the years to help address those challenges and welcome the challenge. And I have had the opportunity over my career to work with lawyers in the Metro Legal Department. It's an outstanding group, and that also is, to me, one of the reasons that I'm attracted to this job, to have the opportunity to work with that excellent group.
Great. Thank you. Anybody have any questions, comments? Qualifications speak for
I
themselves.
was just going to say, I literally cannot think of somebody who would be better qualified for this.
There you go. All right. Motion.
So moved.
Second. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Great. Thank you, Mr. Cooper.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. That brings us to the Industrial Development Board. I think we have time to go one at a time. So let's start with Anand Bhakta. Thank you. Let's come see. Mr. Bhakta, are you a Nashville resident, registered voter, and don't serve on any other boards or commissions?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Would you introduce yourself and talk a
Yeah,
little bit?
my name is Anand Bhakta. I'm known as Andy Bhakta throughout the community. Graduated from Belmont University, so I'm very proud of that fact. Shortly afterwards, moved to Antioch. I'm in the hotel business. Grew up in it. I was raised in a motel, so grew up cleaning rooms, checking people in, doing laundry on the weekends. So I love business. We have a family business in Antioch, and I started a hotel management company, and I managed both the Hampton Inn, Holiday Inn Express in Antioch. So I love the hotel business, very familiar with corporations and what they like and what they desire when they try to look for lodging in a community. Also, over the past 2 years, I've been involved in our community through an organization called CNAP, which is a Crossings Nashville Antioch partnership. Done a lot of community work in the Antioch community. Served as president for the board over there. We've done a lot of community events, fall festivals, Easter egg hunts every year at the Southeast Community Center. Very involved in the community, and that's a little bit about my background. And my desire is just simply to figure out a way to help serve our government, utilizing my professional experience.
And so Andy is my nominee, and I suggested him because I think he would bring a fresh perspective to the existing board. He's representing an area that isn't represented currently. And as we talk about the city overall growing and expanding, we need perspectives from different districts as to how to make our city inclusive for everyone.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, Mr. Bokta? What was your role with CNAP? I mean, what's CNAP do?
Yeah, so CNAP is just, it's kind of like a community organization, and I'm the president for the past 2 years. They nominated me, and what CNAP does is we do a lot of community events. We bring businesses together, and we have meetings once a month, the second Tuesday of every night, sometimes morning meeting, sometimes evening meeting. But basically, the whole objective of CNAP is to bring businesses together and talk about community events. What are some problems in our community? For example, during Christmas time, there's usually the crime rate spike. So we just bring all the business together and talk about how, as businesses, can we help deter some of this activity, and just any kind of, whether it be speeding up and down a particular street. We try to talk about community issues that businesses have, and we try to figure out ways to creatively address them. And so it's twofold. It's really raising awareness about issues in our community, and number two is bringing business and business together.
Thank you.
Well, I'm going to reiterate what Joy said. We don't have anyone in Southeast Nashville who is currently on any board.
On any board at all? No boards and commissions?
We don't really have. I mean, I was looking, and I didn't see. Fabian, of course, was a representative previously, but currently, not so much.
In all of Southeast?
50 boards. Okay. Anyway, is there a motion?
Someone.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes. Opposed? Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Mr. Davis. Could you,
Please don't grill me too hard, sir.
we've got some things to talk about. Could you introduce yourself and talk a little bit?
Anthony Davis, good to meet some of you guys, and I obviously know the second termers. Served 8 years here on the council. Really excited about this opportunity for Industrial Development Board. If you don't know about my private life, I'm a small business owner. I run East Nashville Beer Works, president of East Nashville Beer Works. It's a local craft brewery. Also the president of the Tennessee Craft Brewers Guild, which is the nonprofit statewide that represents all the breweries. And just really the reason I wanted to join the IDB, for one, was to continue work with Metro. I really, really loved serving all these years. And would like to serve again. And they wouldn't let me join the beer board, so yeah, might be a conflict. I worked several reasons why I want to be on the IDB. I think a small business owner perspective is important. I think the landscape has changed a little bit on economic incentives, obviously. Last few years, we've been sort of watching that and feeling that. I do think there's opportunities for small businesses out there, and that's something that, as Jamari and ECD are looking at that we as a board would be involved, of course. And then, of course, one of the bill's ordinances I worked on was the Do Better bill with several of my colleagues here, and that obviously is related to economic incentives. I'd like to continue that work on the IDB as well. And, it just seemed like a good fit and a good board for me to be a part of. So that's sort of why I'm here, hat in hand, to be with you guys tonight, and just appreciate your consideration, and would love to keep serving. So,
Any questions or comments for Mr. Davis?
You mentioned a little bit about small business. Kind of what do you view as the primary charge of the IDB?
The IDB, I mean, obviously, reviewing incentives is a big part of it, and working on those, factors. But I just feel like with small business, there is a lot of opportunities for incentives or other programs, and I'm not sure what that would look like exactly. But I just thought we could do more things with small business. The chamber, pivoted from a private business perspective in that way, and I just think there's opportunity there, and I'd like to see what we can do with it. So.
Anybody else? Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Shortly. Ms. Hannah, Sarah Clark.
Hello,
Introduce yourself and talk a little bit, please.
I'm Sarah Hanna. I am a lifelong resident of Middle Tennessee, resident of Davidson County since 1999. I've lived in over 5 of our districts over that time. Also have seen a lot of changes through Nashville since 1999 in the various places that I've lived. I think that we've made a lot of changes for the betterment of our community. I think we still have some work to do, and I think the IDB is an opportunity for me to use my professional skills. I am a corporate and securities lawyer in my day job. So I read, review, draft a lot of contracts. Have worked on economic incentive agreements, both from small businesses to the large multinational corporations. So I've got a very versatile, I think, business background. I have, since I've been in Davidson County, been very interested in giving back to my community. It's mostly been through nonprofit organizations. I'm currently the chair of the Sexual Assault Centers Board. I'm in my 6th year serving on that board. This is my 1st year as the chair. So I'm really looking for an opportunity to give back to Davidson County through the metropolitan government, not just through my professional services and the nonprofit community. And I want to say thank you to everyone for seeing me today, and particularly thank you to Councilmember Mendez for making the nomination.
Thank you. Any questions or comments, Councilman?
I just want to tell the 3 reasons why I nominated Sarah. One, it does add geographic diversity. She lives in District 1, which is underrepresented on boards generally around town. 2, having a heart for people in the community. You guys heard that, and you can see her resume, all the stuff she's been involved in. It's not for fluff. She cares a lot. And then 3, which I think is critically important on the IDB, is we worked together for a couple of years. I think it was 2012 to 2014, and she's one of the smartest lawyers I've been around. When I had hard stuff that I couldn't figure out, I asked her to figure it out for me. And I just think with the IDB, it's important that we have people that understand the transactions that are being proposed, in addition to having a heart for the community, and those are the reasons I nominated her. So appreciate your consideration.
Thank you, Councilman.
So one of the reasons I voted for you before was not because Councilman Mendez endorsed you.
It was despite it.
Despite that, I still did. But it was because of your background and your professional background primarily. And so can you tell us a little bit more briefly, I know, about how you've used your professional background to benefit the board?
Sure. I think there are a number of ways. I think one, just being an attorney, we're already bound by professional rules of conduct that address conflicts of interest. I think issues that would come up through serving on the IDB. And then just my day-to-day practice is very transactional in nature. I don't go to court. I don't litigate. I write and draft contracts. Review bond documents, review fast-track grant agreements. So I have familiarity with, I think, some of the documentation that would come across the IDB. And I think just generally being a lawyer, we're charged to uniformly enforce the law. And I think being on the IDB, that will help with overall accountability and transparency for the grants.
Any other comments or questions? All right. Motion to approve. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
We have one other, well, first of all, Ms. Johnson is still not here, but we have one other matter to take up before. Is there any other late filed legislation or anything like that? Okay, the only other thing is we interviewed the school board candidates, but did not vote 2 weeks ago. We had 4 candidates. One of them has since withdrawn or be withdrawn. That was Ms. Hines, which leaves 3 candidates. And our role is the same as with the CEC and the IDB to confirm that the candidates are qualified. So we need to vote on that so we don't have to suspend the rules on the floor to do that. Somebody want to make a motion to do one at a time or all 3
I
together?
move that we take them all together.
Yes.
Okay. All in favor of approval?
Aye.
Opposed? Beautiful. Thank you. So what happens if an IDB,
By rule, failure to appear before the committee is deemed a withdrawal. She's walking up.
oh, okay. Okay, all right, well, we can pause for a few seconds if that's okay with everyone.
We'll make sure she walks right through.
Thank you. Anybody have
The
any
date for our
stories?
next meeting?
No, is there a day that works really well for everybody next week?
Oh, yeah.
Or really
Yeah,
poorly?
That's all, yeah, I'm sure we all have that.
Yeah.
So just a reminder that Monday is Veterans Day.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, let's not forget that.
Is there anybody here who can remind us?
Says our resident.
It's going to be off.
Okay.
Mrs. Office.
Who's coming?
Wednesday, okay, thanks. What, next Wednesday?
Here, back.
Wednesday is a budget and finance special meeting.
What time?
4:30
I have
to
4:30, 6:30.
Okay.
Sorry.
Ms. Johnson. Okay, we'll come back to this. Hi.
Hi.
You nice and relaxed?
Kind of a little out of breath.
Yeah. Thank you for being here. Would you please introduce yourself and talk a little bit about why you are seeking this position?
Yes, of course. Hi, everyone. Thank you guys for being so patient. As you all know, the Nashville traffic is ridiculous around this time. My name is Tequila Johnson. I'm a 33-year-old single mom. I live here in Nashville in Davidson County in District 26. I've lived here for about 20 years. I'm from Chattanooga, Tennessee. Lived in Memphis, so Tennessee, born, bred, and buttered. This position is interesting to me because of the lack of community engagement that happens around this process and this position. As we see a lot of things changing in the city, we see that a lot of those decisions appear to be made by one entity, which usually rests on the hands of council, but there are certain positions on committees and boards, such as this one, where there's not a lot of input and there's not a lot of work that happens with the council and these committees. So for me, I want to be a part of this this board primarily because of the community influence I have, but also the relationships that I've been able to build with sitting council members, just to make sure that as these decisions are being made, not only are we considering the legal side of everything, because there are a lot of lawyers who primarily sit on this board, but we're also considering how that impacts individual districts and making sure that the voices of council members and those district residents are present in those meetings and are part of those decisions.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from Ms. Johnson?
You mentioned on your qualifications, you're a certified project manager. Can you talk a little bit about that? You mentioned about your connecting small business and government.
So sure. So in 2011, I was working for Deloitte as a consultant working on their e-discovery program. And throughout that process, I obtained my project management PMP certification. And with that certification, I kind of started doing government relations work, just looking at how small businesses were impacted by large corporations coming in and how that conversation could be one that was elevated in government and how it could create a situation for everyone to win. So I developed a lot of small communications campaigns, but I also did some community outreach and relations campaigns that were centered around specific projects that happened with corporations that gave them an opportunity to align with smaller businesses and create points of intersection.
Councilor?
You mentioned that you got involved in government relations, and so I was just searching to find your current, so you are not a lobbyist for any small businesses now that would be coming before the board, and if any of those, that situation did arise, you would, how would you handle that?
So there's a process I saw in the documents that I read. There's a person that you contact through Metro that will walk you through like what you need to do in the event that you become a lobbyist for a business or a corporate entity. So I would follow the process and just be very transparent about it, honestly. But no, I don't have the desire to be a lobbyist for a business. I'm more so focused on making sure the voices of constituents are present.
Any questions or comments? Okay, motion. Is there a second? Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Thank you very much. Do y'all want to figure out when to meet next week?
Yes.
Or,
We have a second to do so. Let's do it.
so Monday is out, Wednesday is out. That leaves Tuesday and Thursday.
Tuesday I have planning. Some of y'all might have it too.
Planning
Committee,
commission
yeah, sorry, planning commission.
on Tuesday.
On Thursday. Thank
Okay.
you. Sorry.
Oh, it's on Thursday? Oh, planning commission, yeah.
Yes, sorry.
Tuesday's better
I can
for
do
me as well.
Tuesday afternoon.
Tuesday I have a workout.
Is this the 12th?
I'll
Tuesday
change
the
it again.
I'm in
Thanks.
Phoenix.
Change it again. What did you say?
You're going to
I'm in
Phoenix?
Yeah, I'm out of town too, so I don't count.
Some people have their priorities.
I should be able to do any of those. My apologies.
What do you say?
How long will you be out then, since you'll be
Just all week next week.
all week next week?
Okay, so what do you say we meet on the 12th? If anybody has any suggestions they want to get in front of us, get that to the council office before the 12th.
What
Well,
time?
4:30? Well, let's figure that out later.
I'll put it as a placeholder.
Yeah, and let's plan to get things in their final form on Tuesday and then just have a vote on the Tuesday of our council meeting when everybody's here with no changes that Tuesday.
I'd be good before 4:30. I'm just putting that out.
Okay.
I can rearrange my life for you.
And, great. Okay. Good. All right. We're adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You go straight over.
I know, like,